Welcome to the Frisco Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ellis, and on this episode, we are joined by Jordan Knowles. Many of you probably know Jordan, even if you don't know that you know Jordan. Welcome to the show, man. Good to have you here.
Oh, no, man. I'm glad to be here.
All right, you're already embarrassing me with this killer radio voice, too, dude. That's too much. Have you done radio before?
Yeah, fun fact, I actually went to radio school.
Did you really?
I did. Broadcasting.
Where at?
It was a small trade school. It was like CSB, School of Broadcasting. I think they kind of went under like 5 years after I graduated. So thank goodness that happened because I'd have to pay back all those student loans.
Were you talent? Were you on the air?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with that voice, you better have been. That's phenomenal. Well, you are the owner and operator of a business in Frisco known as Foward Valet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I see you guys everywhere. So if anybody out there, if you've been to a Legends game in Valet, if you've been to Frisco Fine Art Gallery for an event, if you've been to anything at Villa Verona, like you guys are there. Verona Villa, sorry.
Right.
I'm going to pay for that later.
Yeah.
But you guys are there. You're the ones that are taking care of people's cars.
Yes, sir.
And always amazing service, by the way. You have a great team.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
How did you kind of get into that business, though? How did you start a valet company?
It was actually by chance. I was managing the operations over at Children's Medical Center over in Plano. And I think that was during, 2008 when the crash was happening. And Children's, they went back and looked at the books and realized, hey, the company that they had, they're overcharging them. And so my father, he was higher up over there, and he notified me and said, hey, either you start up your own and come get the account or go find another job.
Wow.
And so I started it up and still didn't land the account, but trial and error, you know. I stayed with it, and here I am.
So who was the first account that you had?
First account? It was West End Event Center in downtown Dallas.
Okay.
And so, I mean, that industry, you know, club and all that good stuff, it just wasn't for me. Their pay scale's different.
All right.
And, yeah, that was it.
Okay, so how long?
Get out of the club scene.
How long have you had Foward Valet then?
5 years.
Okay.
5 years now.
So you would have started in 2012, 2013, somewhere in there?
Yes, but I was operating under, I had a business partner back in, what was that, 2000, what would that be? Maybe 2010.
Okay.
Maybe. So I had a business partner, and we were doing the club scene. His parents owned the club, and after that, I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
What was it about the club scene that turned you off? Or made you not want to do that?
Because I have to pay them at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah, I can see how that would be a bit of a downer. So you branched out on your own.
Yes, sir.
Started Foward Valet. Mm-hmm. And what was that process like? How did you get going, and how did you get up, kind of started with that in Frisco?
Yeah. So in between that time, I knew I wanted to still stay in the valet. I knew I had connections in Frisco, but I opted to go work corporate to save up my own money, because that was another issue why me and my partner split. That's what any partnership splits,
Sure.
Financial reasons. But yeah, work corporate, stayed with it,
Yeah, just stuck with it.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I didn't want to work corporate.
How are you guys at going out and getting sales? I mean, are you just pounding the street and picking up the phone and calling people, or are you known enough around Frisco now that they're calling you?
Yeah, I'm actually known around Frisco enough to where they're actually calling me now. Some of the larger accounts, you got to attack those full force and tap those phones, emails, and get to where we need to get to the decision maker somehow.
Yeah. So who are some of the other accounts that you have in Frisco? What are some of the other places people are going to find you when they're going out?
811, which is a wine bar, funny enough.
Yeah, that's a great little spot in downtown Frisco. Yeah,
it's a great spot. Up and coming area, and pretty much anything that moves in downtown Frisco, I think I'll have a good hand in it.
Okay.
I have a good relationship with all the developers coming up. So.
Yeah, keep on that one because there's a whole lot of new and fun things that are coming to downtown Frisco in particular. I mean, obviously the whole city's growing like crazy, but
right.
We know there's a revitalization of downtown that's underway.
Right.
Okay. So what about outside of downtown?
I do a lot of private parties. That's where I start first making my money, and that's how you get it in, and then that's how I made my connections. they'll see me at the valet and like my service said, hey, do you have a card or something? So it's like, hey, I'm opening up a restaurant, or hey, I'm having an event, and hey, would you like to come service it for me?
And that was actually going to be one of my next questions. Do you guys still do private events?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I mean, obviously, it's still for relationship building. You're not going to turn down somebody that's giving you a large account.
Right.
If they have a private party, I gotta go service it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not as profitable as the large accounts, but
Right.
it's still it is a good part of the business to have. What do people need to know? If I'm having an event, maybe it's at my home or maybe it's out somewhere that doesn't normally have their own valet, but I want to have that service, what are the things that somebody that has never hired a valet company before needs to know?
One, that we desire a check on demand. Like,
Okay.
right when we get there. How many people are you having? What are the hours? And that's what you're going to be looking at price-wise.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, they don't realize how expensive it actually is, you know, with insurance and all that stuff involved.
Yeah.
And the manpower and trying to keep everybody happy. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it versus just park it and remember where you parked it. Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure you have a system for that, so that's probably the easy part.
Right. I mean, it's honestly their second most prized possession. If they don't have their car, how are they going to get to work the next day? You know, they can't
Yeah.
get to work. How are they going to pay the bills? So.
Yeah. So how tough is the liability in that business? I would imagine it's got to be pretty challenging to say the least.
Do you ask any of my guys? They see me as a control freak, but you know, I'm still controlling my livelihood.
Right.
At the same time, you know, try to make that click in a high schooler's head. You know.
Yeah. Are most of the folks that work for you kind of that age range, high school?
Yeah. I mean, I try to put. I mean, the high schoolers in there. You know, I try to groom them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, try to show them, hey, this is real life, and try to let them meet connections and some for when they grow up. You know.
Yeah.
So it's all about networking.
Well, I've met a couple of them, and they've always been very friendly and very very good. I think you're doing a great job coaching them and bringing them along. So.
Right, and I appreciate that. I'm sure once they hear that, they'll be so excited.
Yeah, no, they're doing a good job. No, I don't remember her name, but there was one young lady I spoke to that kind of wanted a heater, though, because it was pretty cold. The other night, so you might want to remember that. Keep her happy. It was cold
Megan,
out there.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. She's already spoiled. Don't feed her that one.
Okay, sorry.
Oh,
sorry
my goodness.
about
That girl's spoiled.
All right, well, she's going to hear this, so keep that in mind. She might even be watching on Facebook Live right now, so...
Fingers crossed that she is paying attention to school right now.
Yeah, well, that's true at this moment anyways. But okay, so you people can hire you for private events. For business owners, what do business owners need to be thinking about with respect? I want to have regular valet service at my location because, you know, Frisco has some businesses where there's great ample parking, and then there's other places like probably around 811 where parking is a lot more challenged in downtown Frisco in some spots. So if somebody wanted to hire you, what do they need to know?
Right. So that
as a business owner,
just do your homework on the surrounding areas. Like 811, they're only significant to that one parking lot. You know, so all those other parking lots, they're private property. Mm-hmm. So I have to go through all these hoops to like get liability, insurance, and all that good stuff to park on their property. You know, you have to figure out who owns the property first.
Yeah.
Figure out who
get permission.
Get permission and just figure out what's their price on it. Yeah.
Are most property owners open to doing that, or do you pay them as well, or do you just say, hey, this is kind of a be nice to your neighbor, you're closed in the evenings, they're open? How does that all work?
There was downtown Frisco. I mean, you've been there. Most of the lots there it was owned by the city of Frisco,
mm-hmm.
which they don't want to play nice with because you know they want their cut. And then I had this church parking lot that was wide open, and they didn't want any affiliation. They didn't understand valet parking. They thought there was going to be drunk people driving in and out of their parking lot. They didn't realize that we're going to be getting the cars,
right?
And we're all going to be sober getting the cars. I mean, I don't think they just wanted any attachment at all to a place that's serving alcohol and their whole religious beliefs, you know.
Okay, fair enough. So you've got to track people down. You got to find out who owns it. You got to get permission, and then you've got to get additional liability for those locations.
Right. So I mean, Patty Ann's
mm-hmm.
over there, so I have to carry liability insurance for whatever happens after their hours of operation over there. So I rent a lot off of them. I mean, you've been down there. It's not a very big lot either.
Right.
So
But a little bit of extra space goes a long way for some of these businesses. So
it does, versus having the liability parking on the side of the street and somebody sideswiping them.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Your insurance agent must love you. You got to be on the phone with that guy every day.
Well, yeah, because he just collects a check off me pretty much. My guys are good. I told you I'm pretty stern when it comes to my guys and where they park it and how they park it and what routes they take to limits my liability.
Yeah, good. So where else around town are people going to find you? Because we're going to be out going to a lot of events, doing things. I think I see you everywhere in Frisco.
Right. So
it seems like it.
Any event that happens in Frisco, I'm pretty sure that I'll be me. If not, somebody's hitting my line saying, "Hey, how come you're not operating this event?"
Yeah.
It's to that point.
And for individuals, for private events, or for businesses that would like to learn more about you guys, that want to hire your services, how do they reach you? What's the best way for them to reach out and get some info?
They can find me online at fastforwardvalet.com, or they can hit my personal line at 323-209-5187.
Okay. And we'll be sure to link all of that stuff up in the show notes. Before we walk away, are there any fun stories or things that you can tell us? I don't want to do anything that's going to cause you any embarrassment, but any kind of fun or funny stories or anything with driving people's cars?
No. I guess people that just, fart in the car. And please don't do that. Yeah. Because some of my guys would like to return the favor, but
But we frown upon that as a business owner. Yeah, I get that.
That, and then most of the, the elder crowd, with the key fobs, they have the most issues with the key fobs.
Why is that? And what do you mean have issues?
They've grown their whole life without having to use the key fobs. It's like remote start. So they carry it in their pocket, or they misplace it, and then they put the blame on us. Yeah, it's like, hey, we grew up with push start. We already know how to keep up with the key fob.
All right, so keep track of your key fobs, folks.
Please leave in the cup holder when you get out if you're going to valet.
Yeah, and it can be easy to forget. I can see how that might happen if you've got it left in your purse or something like that.
I do it myself sometimes.
Are there any other things that people do that are, let's call them pet peeves, like things that would make their experience with you better and makes your job a little bit easier?
From their perspective?
Like what could I do when I'm pulling up that just makes it a little easier on you?
Oh, just be ready. It's like you're going to valet, and valet means, you're going to go. It's door-to-door service,
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just be aware, cognizant of the people behind you. If have your makeup done,
Yeah. Okay, I got you. That makes
already
sense.
Have the keys in a cup holder, or have a tip radio, or whatever it is that needs to get you going.
Yeah. And okay, let me ask you this: since I have you here, and we're not on the spot right now. Most of the time, the valet is going to be free, and the driver will tip the valet for the service. What is a normal tip that people should expect? What's a good tip versus, and I don't mean like an excessively good tip, but what's like a normal good amount?
A median tip is $5.
Okay.
Anything that's a good rate right there. Right?
You're happy with that?
Yeah.
Your folks are happy with that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Anything less than that, we're like, who's this guy?
Yeah, and you're not, at least in Frisco, in most places I've been, you're not paying for the valet specifically. The business is paying for it.
Correct.
To be there.
Correct.
And so you guys are, making a little money there, but you're making, especially your drivers are making money off the tips.
Yes, sir.
So $5, that's a totally fair rate, and it's,
Right.
especially on a cold or rainy day,
Right.
You can bump that up a little bit.
It's funny because on inclement weather days, the tips actually get worse.
Yeah.
And what you would think that is the opposite, but it's actually worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And now here's another, you said one of the things that people should do is be prepared.
Right.
And so I'm going to give people a tip on being prepared, because I have been guilty of this in the past, is going somewhere and not having cash with me.
Right.
Like that makes it so much easier to tip somebody to take care of them. So make sure you keep a little cash on yourself, or maybe, a couple $5 bills in your car somewhere, just in case, so you don't forget.
Keep the car running.
Yeah.
And don't put on the emergency brake.
Okay, there you go. All right, good tips. Jordan, thank you very much for coming on today. Look, we're excited to see entrepreneurial faces in Frisco, people that are doing all kinds of different things. And for the longest time, I didn't realize you were the business owner.
Right.
And yet you are. You've had this for quite a while, and you've been hustling and making it work. And man, I'm excited for you. Keep going.
Grind
and so everybody in Frisco, if you have a business and you want valet, or if you're having a private event, please call Jordan. folks are amazing. I mean, everybody that works for him has been really spectacular.
Yes.
And he's always taking good care of everybody. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Good to have you on today. And for all of you that are out there listening or watching on Facebook right now, thanks for tuning in. And we'll talk to you next time on the Frisco Podcast.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.